Welcome back to the Kane and Day Show. I am your host, Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Killing Kane and YouTube at Killing Kane. I'm going to kick it over to my co-host here. He'll introduce himself and we'll get underway with NFL Week 17.
Yeah, my name is Day. You can find me on Twitter at Realdaygaming1. And follow the show on Twitter, the Kane and Day Show.
Just do it. It's a good time over there.
It's, I'm getting better at it.
Don't have to scream at HR as much, so that's a plus.
No, I did some work over the weekend. Not entirely.
Not much.
But yeah, week 17. Next week's the finale with a couple winning ins, but
so
get through this week first.
Where do you want to start off today?
Well, obviously, this isn't a complete week because the Bills did not finish their game because of an injury to Damar Hamlin, and we are wishing him the best.
Yep.
At the time of recording, he is still in critical condition, and there hasn't been many updates, which I also don't expect because of certain violations. But
yep, we won't hear anything until his family mostly hears something first.
And they report it.
Right.
They have to say it,
but we want nothing but the best for him and a speedy recovery. And
recovery, not even to play football, just to recover.
Yeah, we want him in the best of health for him and his family, and also we will have the link of his GoFundMe, his foundation. If any of you want to support, it'll be in the description. If they're listening over on Spotify, where can they find that?
It'll be in the description as well.
Okay, cool. So with that, we want to jump into kind of a quicker week. Not many very good games over the weekend. When you look at the schedule, you got the Cowboys blowing out the Titans with Josh Dobbs as quarterback.
He looked better than Malik.
He did, but it just blew my mind that Malik wasn't out there.
It was just weird.
Younghoe Koo walked it off for the Falcons.
Yeah, I saw so much of that game.
First game that we're going to really dive into is Patriots and Dolphins. And man, this Dolphins team really took a 180 on their season, didn't they?
It's tough. Tua's out.
Right.
Teddy Two Gloves was in. And I love Teddy.
Oh, yeah, and then he got hurt. Shocker.
And he breaks his finger.
And then what, Skylar Thompson is his name?
Skylar Thompson.
Comes in.
You know what? They had a chance to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, let's jump in the stats here. Teddy only had 19 attempts, 161 for a touchdown and interception. Skylar Thompson, 12 for 21, 104, and a touchdown and an interception. Running backs, again, not doing anything. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, that Patriots defense is pretty...
It's
decent.
They've been playing decent all year. Here's the big thing. This run room, you went out and got Jeffrey Wilson. You're reuniting him and Raheem Mostert with Mike McDaniels in the magic that they created in San Francisco. And, this team did start out hot. Tua did get 2 concussions. But
2 official. In my book, they're 3, but...
Right.
Officially, it's 2, so I have to go off of that.
But when you look at this team should still play good. It's one of those plug-and-play systems types of deal, right?
Well, I mean...
You see it with the 49ers, though, is kind of what I'm getting at, is Brock Purdy has come in and played very, very well. Well,
right.
When you have the likes of George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, Christian McCaffrey. All you need is a quarterback that can throw a ball, really. And with this team, you have Jeffrey Wilson, who's an underdog. Raheem Mostert, who led a 49ers team and was very, very just overshadowed by everybody else on the team. And same with Jeffrey Wilson. You have 2 complete backs.
Is Jalen and Tyreek were shut down. They combined for 7 and 103.
Yeah, and another thing is
Mostert had 8 catches. I don't know how many yards you're really going to get.
Yeah.
And you know, they started 6-3,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and they just went just downhill.
Yeah,
And now they're not even in the playoffs.
it was a lot of, you know, Tua being out, and that when you have a quarterback of his caliber, and to my own opinion, I think Tua's all right. He just needs a little bit more coaching, and I think Mike McDaniels will get him that coaching, and he will
Oh, I believe
be
so. Because he looked good when he was healthy. Like he shocked me.
right. And there's just little things, but like I said, if you can't run the ball, you're, you know, you can't get your passing game open. And a question that I've had all year is, where's Myles Gaskin at? He
You
was
know,
he was a guy who led your team in rushing 2 years in a row. Where's he at? Why are we healthy scratching him?
I don't know. We've been asking that about Kenny Galladay all year. So
Exactly. And then you, like you said, Tyreek was 4 for 55 and Jalen was 3 for 52. That's not going to cut it. You have to get
no,
these guys at 8, 9 receptions apiece for you to be dominant. And I don't know how well of an arm Skylar Thompson has, but
I don't think they'll show you either. I
no,
think they're going to do the same thing that Tennessee did to Malik and just
yeah. And it's just tough because, like, you know, you have probably two of the most best route runners
duo.
and possession catch guys in Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and they're just not getting used.
Yeah, I
Especially
think,
with
off the
these,
top of my head, the only better duo is AJ Brown and Devonta Smith.
right? And then you have Mike Gesicki, right? Like,
Non-existent.
where you at, dude? You're also one of those like kind of fringe tight end guys that's trying to bust into the hey, I'm really good, because I think he is. They just don't use him, and that's the unfortunate part. And you know, they've made some trades, really hasn't worked out for them since all this injury stuff has happened, because they went out and got Bradley Chubb, right, to bolster that defensive line. And you know, it hasn't really you can't win if you can't pressure the quarterback. You can't win if you give up more points than you guys are scoring, which is exactly what the Patriots did.
Well, I mean, they did have a pick six. Their
I mean,
defense
I
is
mean,
still just they are almost outscoring the
it
offense.
it literally keeps them in games with this defense, and this is a team that doesn't have that superstar name that you're used to seeing, like a J.C. Jackson or Stephon Gilmore. You're not seeing those lockdown guys. I mean, you have it's Jason McCourty, right, or is it Devin?
One, I believe, is still there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the safety,
Devin.
but you have
So I
Devin
think his
McCourty,
brother's
who's
an analyst now.
yeah. I don't know. This defense is still good, and that's one thing Belichick really, when getting defensive guys in, he gets these guys where it's just like, I don't know, but then you get them in a Patriot system and they become superstars. I mean, look at Matthew Judon. He's the exact name that popped up in my head. Is they took a chance on him from, when he came from, I think, the Colts or the I want to say Ravens, maybe.
Ravens.
And
Grand
Judon
Valley State. No way.
was decent when he was with the Ravens, but then he came to the system and he's exploded. Right? They take guys who can ball out on the defensive end, but it doesn't shy away from their offense either. You have some wide receivers that are starting to get a little better. We'll get into that in a second, but Mac Jones, 20 for 33. This is the Mac Jones you're going to get, and I mean, he doesn't really turn the ball over that much.
That's when they lose games is what he does.
Yeah, 203 for 2 touchdowns, not bad. Another thing, you have your running back duo of Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, who are still not running the ball like they should. I mean,
Yeah.
Ramondre has run out of steam, and it shows. It's not.
I still think they're just confused on offense. That's why the defense has to score, and the special teams has to score to keep them in games because they're just lost.
Yeah, I mean, you had Tyquan Thornton leading your way with receiver-wise. Who?
Day.
Hunter Henry was your guy right behind him, 5 for 52, which is good because you've seen Hunter Henry for years, and he's a very good tight end. They just have to use it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a handful of teams that just aren't utilizing their tight end the way they should. But
no, and then Jacoby Myers is a name you've seen pop up and up and up on this board. 6 for 48, not bad. Kendrick Bourne, he's another guy that's been sneaky good all year. Had a really down game. Nelson Aguilar, who also has not been terrible this year. He's been pretty decent, but they need everything rolling if they're gonna win.
And I believe they have to win. I don't even know how this is going to go, but they're supposed to play Buffalo on Sunday. And they, I believe, have to win that game to get in.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because the Bills most likely will play. But this is going to be the most hard win if the Patriots ever want to do anything, and I'm scared of this Bills team because usually when something tragic happens, somebody
it's in Buffalo too.
Huh?
It's in Buffalo too.
Somebody or the whole team decides it's go time, and they just play out of their minds, and it's just going to be a tough task.
But the Patriots put themselves in that situation, so
right.
Play better during the chunk of the season. It doesn't come to a win and in.
Yeah, the Eagles need to think about maybe rushing Jalen back from his injury because they've lost 2 in a row now.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Most of it's going to go through Philly. Anyway,
there's a lot of scenarios that could happen.
We got to see how the Cowboys do. But the Saints beat the Eagles. The Giants absolutely routed the Colts.
Wasn't even close.
No. Our next game here, though, Panthers-Bucks. This Panthers team, they're weird.
I've heard it on a podcast when I was coming home yesterday. They are absolutely a sleeper next year.
100%, because you had the likes of Donta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard both kind of transcend, and now you're seeing a team that took away Robbie Anderson, kept DJ Moore, and just
gave away their best player, arguably in the NFL.
Yeah,
McCaffrey, but they're still somewhat competitive.
They're 6-10 going into last week.
But it's a lot better than where they were with Baker and PJ Walker starting.
I mean, Sam Darnold here, 23 for 37, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, interception. I don't think Darnold is terrible. He's
playing all right.
Here's the thing that's happened in Darnold's career. He played very, very well in college. Then he gets drafted, 1 or 2 overall? Third?
I think third, but yeah.
To a very, very, very bad Jets team. A team that wasn't winning any games. Robert Saleh wasn't there yet, or when he was just like, I want a fresh start. Traded. And which, if it's already not the franchise quarterback, most coaches coming in aren't going to take that chance and make them their franchise quarterback. But Sam Darnold looks like he's doing a lot with a lot less than he ever has. So you have Donta Foreman. Your running back room was not good this week.
But truthfully, if the Panthers block that punt,
right,
they probably win that game.
Right, it's a whole different scenario. DJ Moore.
They say punters aren't athletes.
Well, you'd be surprised. DJ Moore is just, I love seeing his name at the top because he's so good.
Oh yeah,
he's so good. 6 for 117, and then you have Shee Smith 4 for 70 with a touchdown, and Tommy Tremble caught himself a touchdown as well. I just think this team is just a couple pieces away from being competitive again. Back when it was the Cam Newton era, that team was always competitive, and you know, my big thing is there are talks right now that Jim Harbaugh might come back, and I don't think he'll leave Michigan. I don't think he will. He's kind of like the king on campus.
I do, but that's a different team for a different day.
If they got Jim Harbaugh, don't get me wrong, that'd be fantastic for them. I don't think he's going to go to a team that he has to rebuild. I just don't. And with the Panthers, well, I guess you're going to have to share your insight with me after. But I do think that this Panthers team is going to be a force to reckon with here in a couple years.
Oh, yeah, I agree, especially with how down the entire division is. I mean, you saw that the Patriots. Wow, that's where Brady's going next year. The Buccaneers being 8-8 and they get to host a playoff game is absurd. Just throwing it out there. Like
I've seen a lot of stuff on that.
But that's all it took to win the division. Like, they don't need much.
Right.
Because the Saints, I don't believe, are going to be improving unless they go out and get a quarterback, maybe trade up.
And they're not going to get rid of their head coach. They do need a quarterback, but so do the Bucks.
Yeah, because I believe Tommy Brady is leaving.
And I don't...
That's, again, different topic.
I don't believe in the guy they drafted, like, last year.
Oh, God, he went to Florida.
Yeah, he did.
I see it. He's number 11, too. Kyle Trask.
There you go. I don't believe in him. I know there's a lot of people that, I mean, for one, Jarrett Stidham, what's his name? The other guy, Jacoby Brissett, and Jimmy G, guys who've been behind Brady, have had somewhat promising plays in the NFL after him. I don't know if Kyle Trask is that. But let's jump into the Buccaneers side, though.
Mike Evans remembered how to play football.
Apparently, so did Tom Brady.
That's true.
Because he was.
Brady didn't start Mike Evans.
Oof, ouchie. 34 for 45. Now that's a Tom Brady game, if I've ever seen one. 432 yards.
He's getting the ball out quick.
3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Which, again, just like every other people we talk about, when he starts throwing interceptions, they lose games.
Usually, yeah.
Running backs, not a darn thing out of them. Tom Brady ran a touchdown.
The way they were scoring, though.
Well, when you go 10 for 207 with 3 touchdowns, wild. And then Godwin behind him, 9 for 120.
I was gonna say, Godwin didn't have. He had a sneaky good game, like PPR fantasy wise, but I mean, 207 and 3 is nuts.
It's crazy. How many points was on your bench?
Total or just for Mike? It was like
just
49.
Oh, ouchie.
Well, that's 20 from 207. That's 20.7 plus 3, so that's 18. 38. Plus how many catches was it?
10.
Yeah, 48.
Yeah, it's a lot. But overall,
it was an exciting game to watch.
Yeah, sure. Wasn't many of that this weekend.
But the ones that were incredible.
Yeah, you just got to give out a little hope. Panthers should perform better next year, just depending on what they do in the draft.
I don't think the Falcons are going to be anything next year either. So
no,
they really just have to fight.
Because right now
it's doable.
Right now with Atlanta, though, you're in a quarterback trouble. Who's gonna start next year? Is it gonna be Desmond Ridder, QB1?
Oh, it's gonna be Desmond Ridder.
And yeah, Mariota had such a bad year, which is unfortunate. It was the chance you took. Signed him to a 2-year deal. I mean, this is kind of what you were expecting. And it was just enough time to get Desmond into the fold. And I don't know. We'll see how offseason rolls around and how they do, because they're going to be in a good position to draft. Seeing where they go there. I don't know. This Panthers team going to be sneaky good next year, and I think they're going to be in contention for first in the division. So, next game we're going to hop into here, Kansas City and Denver Broncos. We'll start with the Broncos side here. Russ, I mean, we talked about it before that Russ didn't look terrible, but this isn't a Russell Wilson game, really. 26 for 38, 222, a touchdown interception. Usually,
but he looked better.
He did look a little better. I mean,
offense flowed more.
You kind of have to. When you fire a head coach, yeah. When you fire a head coach, though, you gotta something's got to do a big shakeup for them to perform better. It looks like it did a little bit. One of the most, points they've scored all year.
They've done that twice now to Kansas City too.
That's true. Their rushing didn't do anything really. Russ ran 2 in, but he's not using his legs like he used to in his career.
No, he's not. He looks like he's scared to run, but
he probably is. You had no player over 50 yards, which not good, especially when you have Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Chase Edmonds isn't doing anything. I expected him to pop off here because Chase Edmonds is not a bad running back. But when you have him paired with Latavius Murray, they're kind of the same guy. You need to have Javonte in there, but, he tore his ACL. So, Chiefs side, Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 42, 328, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. This team is still so goddamn good. I don't understand it.
They're good, but their defense scares me.
Oh, hell, you don't have. They don't have the Honey Badger anymore patrolling center field, and it shows.
It's not there.
Running backs also. This wasn't a good running back week. Holy shit.
They just kind of threw the ball a lot, though.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco, 9 for 31 with a touchdown.
He did score, though.
Jerick McKinnon didn't really get much on the rushing side, but on the receiving side, Kadarius Toney, there you go. That's what you traded him for. 4 for 71. Jerick McKinnon, 5 for 52 with 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 7 for 43. He dished the ball out a lot. That's what he does. He's Patrick Mahomes. But I can piggyback off your defense thing. Is they're just outscoring guys. There's been a lot of close games.
The problem with Kadarius is I believe, don't quote me on it, I believe he has lost a fumble in 4 straight weeks. They actually pulled him from kick returns.
Yeah, that's not good. You got to work on your hands a little bit, but
so that's the scary part too, because special teams in a playoff game, every little mistake adds up, and if you can't hold on to a punt return, oh boy, we're in danger because you're giving them a short field most likely.
Yeah.
Unless you're already winning the field battle, but that's regardless of the point. They still get the ball at midfield.
Right. Yeah. You gotta hold on the ball, especially on returns. It's just special teams is just as important as offense and defense.
It is.
And when you're special teams guy, I think honestly Sky Moore should be their special teams guy.
I think they're gonna work him into that next year.
They should,
I had to be honest.
because he's fast.
Mm-hmm.
He's very fast,
Small.
and he's gonna be wide receiver probably 3 next year. He's gonna be your slot guy. And he's going to be your kickoff and punt returner, and he's going to be fantastic at it.
You also think if the AFC goes through Kansas City, I'd be scared to go to Arrowhead.
Oh, for sure. It's a different atmosphere in the playoffs, and
they've been there.
They've been there a lot.
Stat? Patrick Mahomes has never played a road playoff game.
You learn something new every day, I guess.
Yeah, even the loss to Tom Brady was at home in overtime.
Yep.
He's never played a road playoff game.
That's insane.
So if they don't have the AFC go through them, be scared. Because he's never experienced that.
No, they didn't.
This man's been to 2 Super Bowls.
Because the year they won, he
went
had
to Kansas City.
They were losing bad against the Texans. And then he came back in the second half and won. They were losing in the championship, came back and won.
That was all at home.
Getting stomped out in the Super Bowl, came back and won. Yeah.
He's never played a road playoff. Then technically, I guess the Super Bowl is the only playoff game he's played not at Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's insane.
But that's a neutral site.
Yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't really count.
That is very true, but like you said, it's going to be a nightmare in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. There's only one team that I could see beating them, in all honesty, as of right now, and that's the Bengals.
What, in Arrowhead?
Yeah.
Why, because they did it last year?
They did it last year, and they did it this year. Well,
They have beaten 3 times in a row, though.
They sure have.
It's tough to beat a team 4 times.
Yeah, that's true, but that's
Even
the only.
The Texans can't beat the Jaguars.
That's I do see them being the only team that's going to give them any trouble in the postseason. So,
I think the Bills do too, because they've won there in Arrowhead too earlier in the year.
That is also true.
And they've lost the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead, so that's some extra fight too.
Revenge game.
Yeah.
Next game here, Lions keep their fucking hopes alive, man. They keep it alive. They have
a prime time game on Sunday.
The Seahawks just have to lose to the Rams,
which is it's a lose-lose as a Lions fan. I'm not, but the people around me are. So it's funny to watch a lose-lose scenario.
The Seahawks are going to have their hands full with LA. It always happens, no matter how shitty of a team they have that they put out there. It's always a bloodbath. And I'm not sure if Aaron Donald's going to be on the field, and if he is, that's scary.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams do win that game.
Well, and then
I also wouldn't be. I'd be just as shocked if they didn't.
Well, the one thing I'm worried about is when you look at their defense and how they've played recently, for the most part, has been very, very good. And
they ran into my Chargers.
And then Bobby Wagner's looking like Bobby Wagner again, which is good for that defense. But yeah, the Lions absolutely routed Chicago. Absolutely demolished them. Browns beat the Commanders. Let me just peep Deshaun Watson's stats. 169 for 3 touchdowns. Sheesh.
Carson Wentz played really good. When I say really good, he sucks. And Taylor Heineke should be their quarterback, but they're paying Carson too much.
And that was the big question going into the week: is why would you put in, Carson? I know what Heineke did last week, but you let Carson Wentz do that for multiple weeks before you were just like, yeah, you know what? Not working out. Next game though, yeah, Browns, Commanders. Jacksonville absolutely destroyed Houston. Not even close. I can't believe
Houston even scored at that point. Seeing some of the bits from that game, Jacksonville's got to win it in next week too.
Yeah, and
they play Saturday night against Joshua Dobbs and the Titans.
In reality, it should be light work for them.
Yes, it should.
Should be,
unless
but
Derrick Henry runs for 200.
That's never what the NFL stands for. Wild weeks all year long. It's been a crazy season. Next game though, let's jump into 49ers and Raiders.
What were your fun game to watch?
What were your initial opinions about going into this game?
That -10 for the spread was fair.
Yeah.
I thought the 49ers were going to come in and just blow them out. I didn't think it was going to be close. I thought that defense was going to be flying, and then they forgot how to play football. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a game. And it was.
The part that still, it's gut-wrenching to me that they are sitting Derek Carr due to a clause in his contract. It's not official that that's what's happening, but it's pretty, cut and dry that that's happening because you don't want him to get his contract guaranteed getting hurt.
Well, they're not in the playoffs. They're trying something new.
I think you saw one of the better performances at quarterback for him this year with this game.
was involved.
He showed up. Yeah, I mean, let's just jump into it. Jarrett Stidham, shocking starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. 23 for 34, 365, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I mean, of course, the interceptions are huge because
that one was in overtime and put them on the 3-yard line. So,
Josh Jacobs had 69 yards and a touchdown, but Devonta Adams 7 for 152, and like you said, Waller showed up 3 for 72. Foster Moreau 3 for 55. Mac Hollins 3 for 40. I mean, this team plays very well offensively.
They did. They played well.
Crazy part, no shit that Jarrett Stidham did well. I'm an idiot because he's under McDaniels or whatever his name is.
It is his personal traveling quarterback.
Sure is, because guess what? He was in that system with Tom Brady.
And I believe, didn't McDaniels leave New England to go to Denver too?
He did.
And he went to Denver with him.
Well, it's a win-win, I guess.
He has never known any other system except for Josh's.
Well, it's a win for him, I guess.
And that's why that offense looked good, because he understands the offense.
That's true. Let's jump over to the 49ers side. And for all you Brock Purdy haters, he threw one pick and everyone's like, well, there goes everything. What a piece of shit that guy is. The 49ers are never going to win with this guy throwing his first interception of the year.
Yeah.
Fucking wild to me. He still had a good game. 22 for 35, 284, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And guess what? I had him and Brandon Ayuk, and I was living life this week. And
I bet you were.
And then his team just decided to pop off on everybody. And now I might actually get the toilet seat. But that's neither here nor there. Christian McCaffrey being the best guy that he absolutely is. 19 for 121 with a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk even got a 16-yard run. Jordan Mason.
You know how many yards McCaffrey has since he's joined the Niners?
Too many.
1,000.
Yeah. He's
9 games.
Fantastic. Brandon Ayuk, though, leading the way on this receiving core with 9 for 101. I've told you all year, Brandon Ayuk is a good receiver, and he put it on display.
Oh, yeah.
He put it on display this last weekend and was elite.
Yeah,
9 for 101. 9 for 101 is crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And then you had Christian McCaffrey going at almost 200 all-purpose yards. So, there's that. George Kittle, just getting those little tiny touchdowns. 4 for 23 with a touchdown.
He's just being a nuisance, really. They're not really using him, but they're using him. It's
right. Funny. And when they do use him, he goes off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but all in all, still a good weekend for the 49ers to try and bounce back. Let's look at their record real quick.
They still have a chance to steal that 1 seed.
They do, and I wouldn't want to go through the Bay, in all honesty.
No. I don't think they'll get it, but they deserve it more than Minnesota does, because my God, are they frauds.
Oh, they sure are. We'll talk about them in just a moment. The Seahawks went into the Jets game and completely wiped the floor with them. The defense just was all over the place. Just stopped them at every turn. 23-6. Not good for this Jets team. They looked promising early in the year, but have also gotten multiple key injuries and Zach Wilson being a fraud as well, because Zach Wilson might get cut.
Smashed. No, probably not. They'll get traded, but the problem with them getting crushed and the way this season is really just unraveled is now people are going to start to question, is Mike White actually good or not?
Right.
And then you're back to square one with a QB problem, and you're not in a high enough draft pick to get CJ Stroud, because I think he would do probably well there. Because if you put Justin Fields on the Jets, they're a playoff team. But
I agree.
And I think they're very similar. I think Justin's faster, but that's regardless of the point.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Bryce Young. I think if you get him on that Jets team, they do fine.
Right.
But they're not high enough. They'd have to hopefully have Caleb fall to them.
Yeah.
But after that, maybe Levy's from Kentucky.
My brother was talking about the
think that
Seahawks taking him.
Mike, was it Mike Levy's? I know his
Think
last
so.
name. It looks like Levi, but it's not pronounced Levi.
Yeah, he was talking to me about that over the weekend. So, let's jump into where the frauds are. The Packers absolutely routed Minnesota, and man, Jair Alexander.
I'm telling you right now, if the Packers beat the Lions, which I believe they will on Sunday, and they do sneak into the playoffs, I'm putting my money on them to win the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
They are playing how they should have been playing the
All
entire
year.
year.
I mean, I just want to shout out Jair Alexander. That dude is such a savage.
He had beachfront 3-story mansion property in Justin Jefferson's head.
Oh, he sure did.
Opening snap.
He sure did. He shut him down.
1 catch, 15 yards.
And honestly, Justin Jefferson should not play another snap this year because of what happened in that game. I get it was an accident,
and he didn't mean.
I get it was an accident, but you pretty clear, visual of him going whack. I get he was mad.
You don't see the whole camera angle from the other side where he was already doing that motion with his back to the official.
Right, and it's just
that could have been anybody.
It just was not good. It was not good.
I think it would have been worse if it was a teammate, to be honest with you.
Oh, probably he would have been benched.
Well, I mean they were losing 41-0, so
yeah, not good. Chargers destroyed the Rams.
They look good.
And the Steelers beat the Ravens. And there was no Monday night because they suspended it. Don't know when we're going to get that game. If we
I don't
will.
think it's going to play at all.
And
there'd be a lot of schedule adjustments, and it's not 1 week.
You kind of just
schedule adjustments.
Make it a tie, I guess.
No, you end it there like a baseball game. Final after 4. That's what it would be like.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's unlucky for the Bills that they're going to lose like that. Well, not going to lose. That they could lose like that because you just don't see that in football. But
true. But anyway, guys, I think that is it for today's episode. If you were watching over on YouTube, go ahead and leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. No comment question of the day. Just if you guys can. We'll have the links for that GoFundMe in the description of both. If you can, you don't have to, but if you can, please help out. And this dude's foundation has skyrocketed since last night.
It is up to $4.5 million since last night.
That is fantastic, and thank you to everybody who has donated. But yeah, we just want to kind of make that all about him, and so that way he has some good news. And yeah, but you can find me on Twitter at Killing Kane and YouTube at Killing Kane. Where can they find you one more time, Day?
On Twitter at Realdaygaming 1, and the show's Twitter is the Kane and Day Show.
Well, guys,
look for the check mark.
Do it. It's there.
It is there.
Anyway, guys, I'm Kane, and this is Day, and we'll talk to you guys next time.